Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ringside Casuals, the biggest noobs of wrestling that have a podcast. I am your host, Josiah Miller, and here with me I have...
I'm Sal.
I'm Nathan.
All right, and today we are talking about Monday Night Raw, September 2nd, and SmackDown on September 3rd. So, last week, we were a bit critical of various things.
As we should be.
As we should be. It was pretty bad.
It's criticism.
I would say this week was an improvement.
I think it was better.
It was a lot better.
Raw?
I'd say...
the whole week?
I'd say the whole week was better.
Okay.
I agree.
I would say... We'll get into it, but I think the Raw was definitely better. The SmackDown one salvaged a lot of stuff that we brought up.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a very interesting way, because like when I was watching it with Nathan, I watched the last 10 minutes of SmackDown, and I was like, oh, they did exactly not what I wanted them to do, but you know what? Like, that is a way to do it.
Yeah, I watched it first again. I was texting you guys, and I'm like, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So the first thing we have is Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman signed the contract to fight at Clash of Champions for the Universal title belt.
Yeah, we get a very humorous kind of like playing off the tenuous alliance.
Because what's great about Braun and Seth is that they don't hate each other.
No.
They actually respect each other, but like, Braun just wants the championship, and Seth's like, well, gotta fight me for it. But there's no, like, resentment. It's just like, we're just gonna fight.
In fact, there's so little resentment, other people are, like, upset that there isn't. They're like, why are you just... You like Braun, and that's why you give him a shot at the title? It's like, no, I just respect him as a human being and a competitor.
I think it'd be a good fight.
I mean, I've kind of been waiting and kind of expecting a heel turn from Seth, just because I've heard he's had heel phases, and he's been a face for a good amount of time, and I feel like this would be the ideal time to make a mess of things and make him a heel. But instead, rather, the person to make a mess of things is the OC.
The OC, but I think that this is the best heel AJ Styles promo we've had since he's turned heel.
Since probably towards the start, I would say.
Yeah, this was like his rant, his like whole thing about like, oh, what, you looked at the belt so you get a title shot? What the hell's wrong with that?
It was such a funny like acknowledgement of like the fourth wall of like, he literally was calling out the storytelling like, oh, because he looked at the belt, that means he's going to compete with him at the next pay-per-view. That's really silly. And I'm like...
yeah, and I was like, wow, you know what? I thought, good point, I thought about that. You're right. And all the... Shut up, Michael Cole! Slap the dick down your throat.
No. See, that's what I thought it was. It is technically teeth, but
yes, it is
for all intents and purposes, he said slap your dick down your throat, and they should have caught that.
Hey, listen, he said it really fast.
He did,
and that promo was too good.
Did he say teeth?
Just cut.
Yes, if you slow it down, he says, "I'll slap your dick down to your throat." But it does sound completely like dick if you listen to it at any normal speed.
Yes. Absolutely.
So
he said dick. I don't care.
Well, yes.
I think maybe it was a Freudian slip and he slipped back into it.
Yeah.
But also it was great because going into his rant, like he gets ready, he gets into his position, he pops up, and then like he just like starts talking and cuts off his own music, and he's like, no, stop. This is come on.
Yeah. Well, he hears his pop, and then they're like, AJ, go away. But he's still like, yeah, I'm AJ Styles.
Yeah. He was really, I don't know what it is, but he was really on fire this week because he was like,
good.
He was very funny.
I enjoed heel AJ Styles for once in my life. Thank God.
He knows he's near the end, so he's
He's
gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But then we have, they get into a fight, and then, which is fun. It was a fun little fight, a little spat, and then during the AJ thing though, he also called Robert Roode Bobby Roode.
Yeah, and then he caught himself
because Nathan were talking about it. Because Robert Roode was a big deal, and then he kind of went off the map, had a heel turn, became Bobby Roode, and now I guess he's still heel, but now back to being called Robert.
Yeah.
And so last week they fucked up and said Bobby, and said, oh, well, I call him that because he's my friend. And then this week AJ was like, Bobby, oh, I'm sorry, Robert.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I'm like, can no one get this right?
I think I can't tell if AJ doesn't care or he cares too much.
That could have been more fourth wall-y, where it's like, oh, which Bobby is the bad and Robert's the good. It doesn't fucking matter. There was
also a bit that was iconic to me where AJ Styles said, "This is ridiculous," and as he said that, he passed in front of a sign someone was holding that says, "I like cheese."
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious?
Also, we had AJ going, ooh, kawaii.
Yeah,
The fact that a wrestler said kawaii
I mean, he was in Japan, but
he was in Japan for a while.
When he said that, I totally thought that like Sami Zayn had teleported onto the.
At first, I was like, "Oh, he fucked that up. That's not how you say it." And then I was like, "No, wait, we say it wrong. The dumb Americans."
But he lived in Japan.
Yeah, he lived in Japan. I was like, he's probably more.
Yeah, no. If the promo would have ended with Sami Zayn taking off an AJ Styles mask, I would have been like, "Yeah, all right."
Well, so talking about the whole, we'll talk about the match, but like talking about the whole thing where they're like, well, Seth's like, Braun, you couldn't beat Brock Lesnar, and I beat him. I mean, once was not legit and once was.
No, he didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
But we all thought it
twice.
So they are trying to push this whole, he was the King Slayer, then he's the Beast Slayer, and he's like, I'm going to be the Monster Slayer, basically.
I don't know why he didn't just say, and I'm going to slay another beast. But then
that's what I was expecting, but it was like, Beast is
because it'd be cool as a gimmick is that, I'm like a normal dude, and I just like kill all the big strong people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a fun like character thing.
Because that'll lead him inevitably to the Fiend.
Exactly.
We'll talk about the Fiend.
We're gonna get into that because
I can see the strings being set up for everything.
You and me were talking in private chat. I think it was before Nathan saw. We were kind of like talking, like, what's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
But it was a fun little bit, and then I felt like for a moment we were gonna have Dolph and Rude become part of the OC.
Yeah.
There was like a second where, like, in my brain, I saw the future and I saw them do the too sweet thing to those guys, and then they join in, and then the OC grows like the Bullet Club.
Because it cuts to commercial, and then they're just like, well, there's a match with the OC, and then Strowman and Seth. And then, like, there's some bits where Gallows, like, throws Seth backwards, and it's like, oh, get it? He's the big tough one. You need to use your tank character to go fight him.
Yeah.
And then he, there's stuff like AJ Styles doing, like, a celebratory hopping dance, like, when Rollins gets, like, parried and stuff, and it's like, what?
There was one time, it was either while Seth was fighting, or was after Braun flattened everyone, where he just kind of looked over at AJ, and AJ just looked like he was shitting himself, and it was
really he points at him, and then he like kind of walks behind. He does
he sees that AJ's trying to interfere, so he tries to preemptively stop him, and the ref for some reason stops things going on outside of the ring.
And
so this event is really important because we have not only to set up Clash of Champions, AJ being pissed, we have tag team turmoil bullshit as well.
Yes.
But also, it sets up Michael Cole being a bad moderator.
Yeah.
Which then leads... I know I'm kind of jumping a bit ahead.
No.
But I need to follow this plot line because I have things to say about it.
Yeah, thematic. That's all good.
It then leads to Stone Cold Steve Austin chiming in on Twitter.
Right.
That next week, he'll moderate.
Yes.
Now...
Make sure the contract gets signed because AJ and the OC... And then Ziggler and Rude became the Legion of Doom, and they just attacked him.
So the important thing about this is that when they said that, they're like, hey, tickets are still on sale for next week's Raw.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that they're in Madison Square Garden, a huge fucking arena, in 10 years. Now, the fact that it's like next week in Madison Square Garden and they have not still sold out yet.
Yeah.
Is fucking desperate, and this fucking skeezy little like, we'll get Stone Cold in there. People want to see Stone Cold.
Yeah.
We had to sell tickets because I know I'm jumping to SmackDown now. There's a fucking SmackDown promo because it's Raw and SmackDown in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And SmackDown, they're like, next week Undertaker will be there. Please buy tickets to see the Undertaker. And it's like they're desperate. Please.
They for some reason, like, after Extreme Rules, Undertaker just didn't show up, which isn't uncommon. Like recently,
which is fine because he's old as fuck.
He's been slowing down. Austin doesn't really wrestle anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just it is kind of like they have to pull out the two biggest stars besides The Rock.
Now, Now, to be fair, I do agree that it's desperate, and they are desperately trying to fill that arena. Madison Square Garden is fucking huge, and it's what they normally use for pay-per-views. So the fact
why is it a random Raw?
Yeah.
Well,
and SmackDown.
Here's the thing. I theorize that the Stone Cold was an impromptu. I think The Undertaker being on the last SmackDown before it moves to Fridays is completely intentional.
Well...
Or is it the last or the second to last?
It's one of the last.
It's close to the last.
Right.
And that said, that has been a leaked rumor for a couple of weeks, so it is super planned out. Stone Cold, I do believe, is fairly improvised.
Stone Cold is improvised, but my theory is that they're playing the game where either one or both of them are going to get jumped by The Fiend.
Oh.
Yes.
Because they have not The Undertaker, but Stone Cold left and came back.
Yeah.
And The Fiend has history with The Undertaker. So I theorize that one or both of them might get jumped.
Yeah, because The Fiend later on sets up that he's going to do Hell in the Cell with whoever wins the Universal Champion.
Yes.
Which we will go into in more detail when we get
there. Yes, but to close out that, he's going to attack, the Universal Championship, and it's like, well, what's Stone Cold moderating? The signing of the contract, so it just naturally follows.
But it's just weird that they have decided to not have Clash of Champions at Madison Square Garden, but to have some random fucking episode, and it's like your first time in a decade. I'd put a pay-per-view in there.
Yeah, sure.
Also, I would have like.
I would put Hell in the Cell there.
Yeah, but I also would have had this been set up like a month ago. Be like, hey guys, by the way, in 1 month, Madison Square Garden, there's tickets on sale now. Yeah. Why is it now we're getting this? Is it because they're desperate?
I think it's probably that there have been the ads on the network, on social media, maybe and like the live events, because we don't see those ads. But I theorize that that's been the case, but they needed to go like, hey, we need to make sure everybody watching the Hulu edits, everybody watching live, everybody watching on TV, everybody's going to know that it's at Madison Square.
And that the Texas Rattlesnake will be there.
Yes, and so that's my theory. That's is that like they may have been a little desperate, but I do think it's a case of they're like, we want to get this packed.
Yeah, and then we have a match between Ziggler and Rude versus Hawkins and Ryder, which we didn't see in the Hulu edit.
No, it wasn't in the edit.
So I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah.
Then we have
versus Lacey Evans, which
did we see that?
That was out of the edit. No.
I'm sure they were great.
But then we go on.
It was the Cedric Alexander promo about Corbin, I think.
Oh yeah,
and then the OC come in and attack him.
Yeah, for no fucking reason.
And then the commentators are literally like, I guess the OC are just randomly attack. Like they literally say something like the OC or what does Cedric Alexander have to do with the OC? And they're like, I don't know.
The only reason why this happened was because Cedric had to lose later in the night. So they had to say, oh, he's hurt. When
and he was still so goddamn close because
Cedric is really talented actually.
So I think this fight specifically made me really think about it. So just a little rabbit trail, little one. So to me, the thing that makes a good wrestler, one, are they good on the mic?
Yeah.
Two, is their character distinct and
has something about
unique?
It. Yeah.
Is their story good, which comes and goes with most people?
Yeah.
And fourth, but obviously like one of the really important ones, are they interesting to watch in the ring? Do they have like unique, interesting moves? Is it visually entertaining? I'm just gonna say Baron Corbin is lacking in most of these areas.
I mean, because like Baron Corbin, he's not good on the mic.
No.
His stories are very much, I beat this person, I'm arrogant about it, I'm gonna beat you, and then he doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if he does, he just immediately loses 5 more times afterwards.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he still has a big, arrogant ego about it.
But End of Days.
And I like Deep Six and I like End of Days. They're really flashy moves, but
they're his finishers. They better be.
Like anytime I'm watching a Corbin match, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's like a Golden Gloves boxer. He's kind of throwing him around. He's big and he's tall and he's strong. And then it's just like once he does his finishers, I'm like, oh, that finisher was so cool. And then I'm like, but in hindsight, was the rest of the match like that? Cedric Alexander's busting his ass, but Baron Corbin's like doing his same old shit.
It's like an Andrade match where Andrade does nothing but get his ass kicked till the very end, where he just gets leading to distract the ref, and he just wins. In most matches.
In most matches.
Now, thank God. But it's why I love because we're watching through the AEW pay-per-views to get hyped up for the show. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I love Kenny Omega because he has like V-Trigger, which is like a cool like just move he can do. It's not a finisher per se.
Yeah.
And I love when wrestlers have like moves that are like not just the finisher.
Yeah, well, there's signature moves and there's finishers. Like for instance, the Undertaker, like the chokeslam's not a finisher; it's the signature move.
Yeah,
like the Tombstone Piledriver, Last Ride, those are the finishers.
Yeah,
but like
you have to have an arsenal. You can't just have fucking your 2 tricks.
Maybe maybe Deep Six is a signature move and not a finisher, but I just can't be bothered to like actually investigate that.
Yeah.
Because Baron Corbin, I mean, he gets cut out of the Hulu edits, and
he
doesn't fit really any of your criteria.
And and the other thing is he doesn't really fit King of the Ring criteria. He's been around for a while, and Cedric is much newer. Again, like when I first heard that he was in King of the Ring, I was like, "Oh!" And one of you guys were like, "Oh, he's the guy that jumped off the fucking giant ass thing and slammed into everyone." That was really descriptive, I know, but I can't remember the exact.
It was on top of the
LED.
It was on top of the LED.
Yeah, when there was a big old mosh pit of wrestlers, and they were like, "Holy shit, Cedric Alexander's way up high."
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was cool. But then since then, he's been consistently like basically Ricochet, just lots of high flying acrobatics that are really, really cool and obviously really, really difficult and much more.
Well, in this match, you could tell it wasn't even that. You could tell like he was actually like totally like into the match.
Yeah,
he was really like trying to give it his all. Like, look, this is my shot to like even because I don't know, he probably won't win King of the Ring, but if he does, he's showing that he deserves it, and if he's not, he's gonna show you like, oh, you know, like
Baron.
No, Cedric.
Okay.
Cedric is showing, you know, like, hey, even if I don't get this, like, look how hard I work. Like, you should pay attention to me, which I respect.
Yeah.
And then after that, we get somebody who is good on the mic.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
standing ovation.
What? Mine has it.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks.
Oh, yes. Real quick, Kayla, I think her name is, the interviewer. Not to be I'm not meaning to be insulting or anything, but she looked really like something about her makeup or something. I don't know if it was Botox or something, but she looked really different this week.
Well, hey, as long as we're going surface level, I had a really, really interesting observation for both Bayley and Sasha.
Sure.
And I mean, like, you guys know me, I don't try to be an asshole. Like, this is honestly just an observation
Sometimes
I was making. That's the joke, you fucking prick. Anyway, so something I was noticing when I was listening to them on the mic is Bayley and Sasha both have like just some kind of interesting twinge to their voice. Like Sasha, and I mean this in like, I don't mean this as an insult. It's like the most minor thing ever. But the closest thing I could think of is someone who's like deaf but has had really, really, really good vocal coaching. So there's just like that little bit of like something there.
You know what it is? Because I was taking acting classes recently, and there was one. I don't remember who it is, so I couldn't even hide their name if I wanted to.
Sure.
But they did this thing where they had like a pattern where they would always say something and their voice would go up, and they would always have a thing where they were talking normally, and then suddenly at the end they would sound like a question. But it's not. It's a statement, and it's kind of this weird thing where it's like your voice.
I do see that with Sasha.
Yeah, and then with Bayley, what I noticed is she sounds kind of like jowly. Like there's a little, like I feel like Sasha's my best friend. Like there's just and I can see that that's how it is. Anyway, just observation. Nothing against either. Although I don't really like Bayley, but you know,
here was kind of one of the centerpieces of the whole episode.
Yes.
Right. So
was it Becky calling out Sasha?
Yeah. So Becky, it's Becky and Bayley versus Nikki and Alexa, right?
Yes.
It's the championship. They call it some fucking special bullshit thing. It's the first time in history. Oh my god.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the that's at the end, right? That's the last thing.
No.
That's the last thing.
That's not in my notes. That's the halfway point.
It's the halfway point.
Oh no, sorry. They're setting it. Sorry, my notes are wrong. They're setting it up.
Yes.
But then they're talking about the commentators are talking about Sasha's heelness being her true character.
Yes.
Not just that she is, that this was underneath the whole time, that she was, even when she was a face, and then Becky says like, "Oh, Sasha and Charlotte are frauds."
Yeah.
And then Becky is kind of going like, "Oh yeah, Bayley's actually pretty cool," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay." And
it's been hard for me to get a read on Becky ever since Sasha attacked her, because she's kind of just kept coming out and going, "Oh yeah, I brought out the toughest in them. I made them, and that's what I wanted all along." And it's like,
is it because you're getting memed every week?
Anything else you gonna?
It's
no, okay.
It's very interesting. I also noticed that they were doing this thing where like I'm wondering if it's intentional where, Becky obviously has, like, the really nice red hair, and Sasha has the blue hair. So it's
that's totally intentional.
Like, that has to be intentional, right?
Straight up.
Oh, yeah. Like, if it's not, I'm questioning their judgment, but...
Yeah. But hey, now they have Sasha v. Becky for the championship.
Confirmed.
So that's awesome.
and Sasha says something like, "I'm in this for the paycheck," and I'm like, "Wow, okay."
I mean, she is the boss.
I really loved her coming out and just like anytime they're like, "Hey, let's fight, let's settle this now." It's like, money, and I'm like, "That's that's fair. I understand."
One thing about the Cedric Alexander and the Baron Corbin match, just to go to that, it was funny how the commentators, like, sometimes when someone quote unquote botches a move or like the whole move doesn't connect, they sometimes justify it when they really don't need to.
Yeah, like
in the Corbin Alexander match, they were like, "Oh, it looks like only one foot hit Corbin," and I'm like, but he still hit him. But I don't know if they're implying, if both feet hit him, it would have been over.
I'm glad they didn't go that direct. They the fact that they just said that. I was like, I don't know what that comment was, but it could have been worse. I guess.
Yeah. And
though it is probably my favorite Baron Corbin match I've seen, honestly.
But then again, how many matches of his have we seen?
Not very many.
Since because Extreme Rules, then he was getting cut, and then he had, I forget who he was matched up with King of the Ring before. He fought
The Miz.
He fought The Miz. He trashed The Miz.
Yeah.
That fight was
but it was bad. But it was unsatisfying. But this fight was at least like Baron Corbin had to like work for it.
He did.
So when he won, it was at least like, okay, it wasn't just that Alexander was jobbing. Like it was like a intense fight.
Baron Corbin was sweating. He was like, ugh.
And it's interesting to me that they decided to give that handicap. Like even though Baron Corbin has been around for longer, they didn't go with his experience beat him. It's literally just like, no, in a one-on-one match, Cedric could probably kill him, but he was injured, so...
He was injured.
Yeah.
Because the OC just decided to hurt him.
Because they're heels.
Baron
Corbin's a heel.
It feels like all the heels are just, like, weirdly on the same page, which has not been the case in the past few months. Everyone's kind of been on their own. Like, heels, I feel, are more independent agents, so they don't usually make as many alliances unless it's like, this is a team, or like a new team like Sami Zayn and Shinsuke.
Yeah.
But like the OC are literally, it's just kind of like, I guess all the heels are kind of just like fucking up everybody.
I'm curious if they'll expand on that at all.
No.
Although when Rude and Ziggler came out, I was like almost wondering if they were going to do the Bullet Club thing.
I thought it was gonna, but no.
No, it was just them being opportunistic.
They were kind of just flexing.
And you know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Then we get Viking Raiders versus two fucking twinks, and we didn't see it.
And guess what? It's a Viking Raiders match. It got cut.
Yeah, of course it did. Suck.
Everyone, for those of you that don't know, the Viking Raiders matches are the 7th inning stretch where you take a shit and grab a drink.
You could take a shit probably.
Oh, you could take a comfortable shit. The match, you could take your time. You can unroll as much of the roll as you want. That's a nice about handful. Take care of your business.
You can look back at the previous matches to refresh yourself.
Yeah, you kind of scan the result. You wash your hands twice.
So speaking of shits, let's talk about the Ricochet and Samoa Joe match. So now this is interesting for me because I love Samoa Joe.
Yes,
I love Ricochet.
Yes,
I do think that Joe is better on mic than Ricochet.
For sure.
Yes, because Ricochet is just sort of like, I'm just a good person, and I'm like, I love you.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm a good person like the Bailey way where it's like boring. I'm like, Ricochet.
We'll get to that.
You're hugely fucking talented.
Yeah.
In the ring, and you have really good emotion.
Yes.
In the ring.
He sells well, and his passion is there. So even if he's not the best on mic, he makes up for it in the ring for sure.
And he does completely.
Yeah.
But this match was really good.
Yes.
Yes.
They went back and forth a lot of times. A lot of cool high flying. Joe was destructive and attacking the knee because he's like, well, it's Ricochet, so I have to fucking kill his knee.
Yeah, if I stop him from flying, if I keep him on the ground, he's on. Yeah, I can get him in the Coquita.
Yeah, exactly. Then he Coquitaed him. Do you want to skip over the whole match, or do you want to talk about it more if we get into the finale?
I want to bring up one. I really like how they pointed out, they made it really clear, because this is something I was worried about, how different this match was from Ricochet versus Drew.
Yeah.
Because they were like, you could argue, they're both the big, strong guys, but they were like, no, Joe's very much more methodical and tactical with how he deals with his opponents, and that's I was like, good. That's
which you wouldn't expect, because Samoa Joe, like his theme, like his appearance, his voice all gives you the impression of this is just another big tough guy. But it's like, no, this guy's like an actual like technical advanced wrestler, and
he really
is very cerebral.
He
is, and because like in the match, the first like few minutes was just like Joe just fucking with Ricochet.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
I think it's easy to say that this was the best match of the whole episode.
I would say so.
Easily.
Yeah, no, easily. Yeah, it's a Ricochet. It's Ricochet versus Samoa Joe. Just even the idea of that match is better than...
When I didn't know who was going to win. I think both of them, which is ironic because I was like, both of them could be King of the Ring. Yeah, and then given where it goes, it was like, oh, okay, so they thought so too. They wanted to stretch it out a little bit. So this is another
instance where I feel like, personally... I think Ricochet was supposed to win this.
Sure.
Personally. Because after the thing that happens, which we'll just say it, Samoa Joe gets Kikuta Clutch on the fucking top rope. They both fall back in a very Adam Cole v. Johnny Gargano way.
Yeah.
They fall down, and then a lazy arm gets attacked.
Yeah, their lazy arm goes over the other's chest.
But they both have arms over each other, and they both have their arms down.
Yeah.
And the ref decides... to do the 3 count.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And then...
As opposed to call it as opposed to like...
Give them a 10 count to get up. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure he gave it a bit of time before he started the 3.
It was pretty quick.
I'm not saying it was a 10 count. I'm saying that he gave them a little bit of time.
He gave them like 2 seconds.
He gave them enough time for the audience to notice what was happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
But, because after that happens, and they both get up and they're arguing... Ricochet like does his big move on Joe and then walks out.
Yeah.
And then his theme plays. So I feel like initially Ricochet was supposed to win in advance, but we need to sell those Madison Square Garden tickets. So what if it's now a triple threat match?
Right. Oh, you like triple threat matches,
right? You like those?
And you hate Baron Corbin,
and you love Samoa Joe, and Ricochet's fun, and we hate Baron Corbin. So
you get every possible way to look at the match. Like you like the heel Joe, you like the face, and then you hate the heel. So
yeah. So instead of having Ricochet just win and fight Baron Corbin next week in Madison Square Garden, it's triple threat, and then I'll sell some tickets, right?
I definitely feel like maybe the King of the Ring hype was a bit down, and they were like, let's change it up a little bit and have a triple threat before the before the final match, because whoever wins the triple threat fights whoever fights.
We'll fight.
It's
Don't say it yet. We're not there.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. I will say my heart fucking stopped when Baron Corbin came out and was like, oh, it's a double disqualification. I was like, that's stupid. That's an arbitrary way to make sure Baron Corbin.
It was so healy though. It was great.
Yeah.
It was him being like, well, they both lost technically.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, what if they both won?
That made me so happy, because I know for a fact that Baron Corbin cannot beat either of them, let alone both.
I mean, unless like the plot tells us that he can.
That's true.
When it's good writing.
That doesn't matter to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
We're speaking of Vince McMahon. This Firefly
Funhouse.
Yeah.
So before that, before that, we got a little mini promo of Seth and Braun talking about Stone Cold's gonna be there, and then Braun's like, Stone Cold's obviously in your pocket, and I'm just like, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, I would never betray anybody, and
I'm like, are you serious?
You've been a heel, yes, you would.
Like, I mean, I know people. I
remember your blonde streak asshole.
Yeah. People and characters.
I was there, Gandalf.
People and characters change, but I do feel like it's a bit naive to like. It'd be like if Braun going, I would never serve another person. It's like, weren't you in the Wyatt family? Oh, that's a lie. So it's there was definitely a bit of like kind
of
to
that in SmackDown.
There was definitely a bit of kind of like, hey, they respect each other, so we have to like increase the tension between them. And it's like, no,
it's okay.
Yeah. But he kind of like he convinces Braun Strowman it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And then the Firefly Funhouse.
Right. So let's talk about that.
So boys. Fuck. So I have a couple. So we have 3 options here. Okay. So Vince McMahon is either dead or in a coma, or he's getting really, really desperate.
Yeah.
Or they're just somehow slipping this under him.
They did give Bray almost unlimited control of the Funhouse, as far as I'm aware.
Which is
great.
It
is in line with Mr. McMahon's character.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's portrayed himself as evil before, but I feel like this was more like less I'm the evil authority figure and more you're kind of just like a pathetic joke. So it's like, it's a bit different. Like, I feel like in the past he's portrayed himself negatively, but it was always with this air of, well, I own WWE. And so even though you, like, fucking destroyed me in the ring, you're at fault, Roman Reigns. And, like, it was kind of funny how he just like, way back when they did that whole bit of the first time he was on SmackDown, Roman Reigns Superman punched him because he's a tool.
Right. Yeah.
And Vince just kind of went down in one shot. But I feel like this was definitely, like, so satirical and biting. It was almost like, wow.
It was like that was a little real. It was like when Bray Wyatt first introduced the Vince McMahon puppet, and it was like, oh, the connotation.
You need to lose weight. Yeah. And then Huskus the Pig Boy, which is a reference to Husky Harris, his first character, and it's like, oh, Bray Wyatt probably has issues about weight, but I feel like he was implying that Vince McMahon didn't help.
Yeah.
So it was.
It was a great fun house. It kind of set up Hell in the Cell.
Oh, it definitely did. They had him say, "I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
He basically said, "Look, Finn, I'm real sorry for what I did."
Yeah.
And then he basically said, "Seth, Braun, whoever wins, I'm gonna fuck them in the cell."
So clarification here. Yeah. Hell in the Cell is a pay-per-view all on its own. Okay, because there's also an event within pay-per-views.
Yes.
So for a second, my mind was, so wait, Braun and Seth have to do a tag team, then face each other, then the winner has to face Bray Wyatt all in one pay-per-view.
Well, yeah, but Hell in the Cell, it's more like they do Hell in the Cell pay-per-views, but sometimes only one match is in the cell. In fact, usually the main event is.
Yeah.
And they'll have other stuff going on. But yeah, so basically, I mean, you've probably seen it if you're listening to this, but if you haven't, the Funhouse basically had the Vince McMahon puppet pop out, which he's not really been involved in too many of the Funhouses.
No.
But he pops out, and then he's like, what he says, Seth and who else?
How dare you challenge Seth or Braun Strowman?
Or Braun Strowman. Like, they're
vital to this company.
And then he's like, Vince, or well, he doesn't say Vince, but he's like, look what I've been making, holds up a whole stack of money. Vince kind of like has an orgasm, and then he's like, here. And then he feeds him the money, and then Vince kind of
slinks back down.
Slinks back down, he gets placated, and he's like, and I'm just like, this is too real right now.
It was great.
It was really good.
Then we have The Miz versus Cesaro, which got cut.
The Miz, and it's the one match that The Miz has won in recent memory.
Oh, really?
Did he win?
That's what it's.
That's funny.
Oh, good for him.
That's funny.
So good on you, Miz. I love Miz. He's kind of a jobber, but he's really good.
And then I believe we have Rey Mysterio hyping up his son.
Oh yeah, and he's like, I'm not gonna quit yet.
This whole thing is weird, man. This feels definitely like they are switching, like they are literally in negotiation in between.
They are.
Like it feels like
there was the one week where Ray was about to leave, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" And then they're like, "No, we gave him more money, and he stayed."
Yeah, no, you have to watch me in my first match at WWE, Dad. And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so it does. The Rey Mysterio thing is absolutely bizarre. I don't feel like there's a through line in it at all. But it was. I mean, I can't say that I don't care about watching.
I mean, I enjoyed the Hey Charlie promos.
Yeah, well, because he does get pretty emotional, and
Ray's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a really good actor.
I love him.
I can't say that I mean, I haven't seen his son very much, but I can't say that he would be.
I thought you made him up to what I've seen.
I don't think he'd be up to carrying on the character.
Oh fuck no!
So it's like
he's already shown up without a mask, so you know.
Rey Mysterio has done stuff in WWE where he didn't have a mask.
Well, sure, but they made this big fucking deal of him.
I know.
So but now we're on to the end, where it's the end. What's the name of this fucking dumb thing they did?
It's like Clash of Champions.
No, it's like the championship. It was a championship showcase.
That
was the name.
Right.
I fucking remembered it. So yeah, so it's for some reason, I don't know why. Yell at me in the comments for not knowing why, for not reading the one obscure fucking tweet that was on some bullshit. Yeah. But for some reason, we're gonna have Becky Lynch, the Raw champion, and Bayley, the SmackDown champion.
Wild card.
Wild card. Yes.
Versus the women's tag team champions.
And none of the titles are on the line.
No.
There's just a match.
Yeah.
Also that Bayley can turn heel.
They all have titles, but none of them are on the line.
Nope.
And I'm like, that is very bizarre.
Now I enjoy the idea that Bayley feels overshadowed by Becky Lynch.
Yeah, that was a
good because in every way she is.
Because Bayley sucks.
Yes.
In every way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're bad. Change your character. Just Bray Wyatt. Just go into like a reincarnation. Just do something.
Speaking up,
we'll talk about it on SmackDown. But as talking about change the character. But anyway. So anyway, this match happens.
It's all right.
It's pretty good.
I think that
it's pretty good, even though they clearly show that Becky Lynch's power scaling is so far above Bayley.
Yes,
that it's stupid.
Well, and everyone and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
But yes, except there was bits where Alexa and Nikki were beating the shit out of Bayley, who was a champion. So that's, given the fact that they job a lot.
Listen, if there was a legitimate match with no Vince McMahon fuckery, where it was Alexa versus Bayley, Alexa would win, hands down.
Without his fuckery. Okay.
Yeah, without his fuckery.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like this also is a good display of Nikki Cross, because she's going more and more wild, and I kind of fucking love it.
I'm kind of in love with Nikki.
Nikki Cross has slowly won me over.
Like, I remember when she started, I'm like, this is a ridiculous character. She kind of just has this grr face and then runs into the ring and punches people.
I mean, I always thought she was adorable, but now I think she's talented, and that's that makes all the difference.
I don't know what it is. It's the weird WWE effect where sometimes a person can come out and I'm not interested in them at all, and then over time I'm just like,
sure. That was cool. That was kind of me with Samoa Joe, but that was but that I very quickly warmed to him after he murdered Kofi Kingston.
I always loved Joe.
Yeah.
And the moment when we were at our live event and Joe showed up, I was like, fucking Samoa Joe.
In my notes here, I put mostly Alexa and Nikki shitting on Bayley, so good match.
Yeah.
And then Sasha pops up. I believe disqualifies everyone. Basically ends the match.
She attacks Becky and it ends the match. And
I think the Hulu edit literally ends with just her and Bayley standing over broken Becky with no ruling on how the match turned out.
It didn't matter. The match was there.
It doesn't
because
matter.
If you notice, I don't know if you guys watched, as soon as Bayley tries to stop Sasha from using the chair, Alexa and Nikki have split.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're just gone. And I don't get why. There's no in-story. They're not scared of them. I don't think
they don't give a fuck.
I don't know why we didn't get a shot of them outside the ring going
I assume it's my reasoning for it is because Sasha has just fucking ruined everyone in front of her, and they're we don't have a dog in this fight.
She just beats up everybody.
They were there to fight them so that Bayley would have to betray Becky to turn heel, technically.
Yes.
Yeah, and so what happens is that an impression of Bayley? Anyway, Sasha Banks comes in and takes the chair to Becky Lynch. And she hits her.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then Bayley kind of stops her, and there's a bit where Sasha says, are you kidding me? And earlier in the episode, they set up Sasha Banks is my best friend.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first saw that, and I was like, oh, it makes sense because you're a terrible person who's pretending to be nice.
Yeah.
And that's not intended to be your character, but now I'm like, oh, so they saw that that's how people were reacting, and now that is her character.
Yeah. I will say there was one or two shots when Sasha actually hit Becky on the stomach with the chair, and I was what the fuck?
I was supremely worried because I just watched a video where Stone Cold's you always hit when the back is straight.
Yeah.
That's why you let the person get up and then you hit them again.
Yeah.
Because you always want to make sure it's a flat surface so they can take the hit. Because if you hit them on anywhere that's if you hit them in an area that's not straight on, if you hit them at an angle on the shoulder, that could fuck your shoulder up.
Or that could slide.
And it's also why they've outlawed headshots.
Yeah. You can't do the Randy Orton punt anymore for those reasons. But she hits Becky in the stomach at least once, and I was like, oh god, be careful, because she kind of shoved it down instead of straight full on. But I was still there's.
Was it Becky or was it Charlotte on SmackDown?
That was definitely Becky.
Okay. Yeah, no.
She might have done it to Charlotte too, but I'm pretty. Yeah. Actually, no. I think it was just Becky because it was Sasha who did it. Bayley only hit on the back.
Yeah,
Bayley did it the way you're supposed to.
And so we get this moment where Sasha Banks gets the chair kind of tearing out of her hands by Bayley, and you think it's going to be Bayley versus Sasha for half a second, and then
Bayley smiles.
Bayley kind of smiles, and you're like, oh no, but yes. And then she goes over and attacks Becky Lynch, and it's she's a terrible person, we all thought. I feel so validated.
It's really interesting because you shared the video where people are just flipping their shit, going, "Oh my god, she turned heel!" And I was like, well, frankly, this alliance was kind of weird from the start, Becky and Bayley. So I'm not.
It wasn't even an alliance. It was just a random bit of we're both champions in this match. It was so weird.
It was very strange
because I didn't feel like it was a betrayal because they had been on friendly terms, but it was mostly we're both champions.
Yeah.
And then
I'd say on a scale of like 1 to 10, I was mildly above apathetic to the end. You know,
I thought it was good only because I'm like, hey, like they're actually giving Bayley a story.
Sure.
Like the effort to. I mean, I wish the effort to give Bayley a story has now made her a little bit better than Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So on that merit alone,
this pile of shit has less flies than this pile of shit.
Yes, and that is objectively better.
And I will say that they built off of it very well. On the following SmackDown,
which we're going to talk about now. We're talking about SmackDown on the 3rd of September. They do the whole previously on Sasha Bayley recap.
Yes.
And so Bayley comes out, and I know, like, the whole point is she can't, like, fully embrace mentally that she is a heel yet.
Yes.
So she has the same happy intro, and she comes out. But I must admit, there was, like, a second where I was like, but we all watched it. It was on TV. Like, how can you pretend?
I watched this show.
I watched this show, right? And it seems like every time you do something heelish, New Day, like
it just gets swept under the rug.
It's swept under the rug, and you're just a happy person who gives hugs out. But they do play into that later.
Yes.
Where Bayley basically does the MJF thing, where she's like, I'm a good person. I'm a role model. I'm loyal in a sense. So even though I wasn't loyal to the person I was contractually obligated to assist, I was loyal to my friend.
Yeah.
Who, hasn't been around for months.
I'm so happy that she was just in a wash of booze and everyone you're
good.
So full of shit.
Yeah, no, it was honestly, this is the best thing you could do with Bayley at this point.
And then they just magnify it even more when Charlotte Flair comes out. And
again, I think you guys are wrong. I think Bayley hits Charlotte with a shot to the stomach. I remember it because it was so just like.
I think what it was Sasha hit Becky when she wasn't fully up.
Yeah.
So it was a bit different, but Charlotte gets hit in the stomach.
Charlotte comes out and is all like, "Fuck you, I'm the queen."
Well, no, it's really great because she's like, "Hey, listen, I might do that to people, but at least I'm upfront about it. Everyone knows me for what I am. I'm not this little rat-faced
I'm a role
bastard.
model for your kids, and I'm showing like loyalty to your friends."
I got the biggest boos ever. Like anytime we try to talk to like parents about like I'm this for your kids, they're like, "Are you though?"
Yeah, when Bayley's like, "Think about the kids," I'm like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah,
you suck.
And so they're clearly just doing this so Charlotte can be the face at their match.
Yeah,
which is fine because Charlotte Flair is like she's amazing. Right. She's amazing and
she's amazing,
gorgeous and wonderful and talented, and
she's my queen.
Genetically superior, as Corey Graves says.
Yes,
has the Flair genes. But
Corey Graves is the best commentator.
He's really great.
But she wooed and I clapped. I gotta say, I was like, that was a good.
It was a fun promo. Bayley came out was a shithead.
Yeah.
And then Sasha Banks comes up, and Charlotte Flair kind of has a moment of going, "Oh, Sasha Banks is probably going to come up behind me. I'm just going to hit Bayley in the face as fast as I can."
Yeah, that was it was like when Jerry Lawler heard the Fiend intro. He was like, fuck this, I'm going.
Yeah, he starts walking. Yeah.
I was expecting like maybe Becky or someone to come fucking help Charlotte.
No, I think they might do this to like bring Charlotte and Becky back together, possibly.
Sure.
Do like a team up with them.
But like between this and the fucking gank on Braun and,
it's a gank.
Seth, I was like,
gank squad.
Why isn't anyone helping? I was like, where's Ricochet?
Well,
the whole for the mention the whole time I was like, Ricochet, he's part of this thing.
Ricochet helped Seth first, and then Braun did.
Yes,
God damn it.
It's funny to think, like, you get why like heels may not come out, but sometimes it's like, why isn't the face running out to like help the human life that is being threatened?
There's another really good example of that later on, but we'll get to that.
Ricochet is like the human. He's like the he's the WWE superhero. Why isn't he out saving people?
Well, and so.
He's walking it off after fighting.
So after this, we get this ad that is basically just, "Can Chad Gable not job for Andrade? Find out next." And it's not next. And then then you get
it's
Ali.
So it's Ali versus Elias, which is like so I had predictions for King of the Ring.
Right.
And this episode was like, let's do the opposite of what you thought would happen.
I gotta say, I feel like Elias versus Ali was like the good version of Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, we're gonna show it. I was like, Elias can fight.
Yeah,
they
he's not just being a fucking stooge.
Because here's my 3 thoughts going through the match. The start of it was, okay, the commentators literally compare him to Elvis Presley and Nat King Cole because he's going to be the
I cringed.
King of Life. It was really bad. Really bad. And so it started out, I was like, oh shit, this is really bad. And then, like, they start saying, this is the most vicious Elias I've ever seen. And I'm watching and I'm like, yeah, he's really, like, going for it. He's doing some interesting stuff.
Because Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander, I was going to have to be, like, injured before the match for Baron to win. Elias actually won it.
He did not cheat.
He did not cheat.
I watched so specifically. I'm like, if he wins by not cheating, he will have gained some respect from me.
And he did. He beat Ali clean.
Yeah. He did.
I was like,
and it was very similar. It was a lot of it reminded me of Samoa Joe and Ricochet, where he was very methodical of, okay, you're gonna fly around like a little bastard, I gotta hurt your leg so you can't do that.
Yes.
And it was really interesting, like watching that fight. I was like, if they keep up with this with brutal Elias, they like give him something more interesting to do with his character, I could see him being kind of like a new Stone Cold kind of.
They could they just need to make him the assassin from Punisher 2004, where he just plays his guitar and he's like, I'm playing that at your funeral.
Yeah.
Like that's what he needs to be, because this whole like
Punisher 2004 is a member of the NWO in it, so
yes,
yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, the whole being stooges for Shane McMahon thing,
I hate it.
Diminished those characters.
Yes, absolutely.
Like Elias was already like a tough sell at the beginning because he was like annoying.
Yes,
but then making him like a McMahon stooge, and then like that weird thing about the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history, which I'm like,
then you give him the 24/7 title.
But I prefer he had the 24/7 title, because it's at least funny when he's like, nope, I'm competing in a match, actually, you guys aren't, so you can't get me. Like, it was kind of like him going like, oh, you guys are like main eventers and 205 Live people. I'm actually competing in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But I, Ali's really good. I'd like to see him fight Ricochet, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, see how far they could push each other.
See if he can go hard.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine a triple threat match of Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and Ali.
And then they all do like a jump kick from the different posts and hit each other in the middle of the ring. And that's what I want.
Elias beat Ali clean. And honestly,
that final roll where he just hooked him in the elbow and just slammed him, that
super good.
And then he just immediately pinned him. I was like, yeah, you wouldn't get up from that.
Yeah, it was honestly shocking.
Then I think we got the Aleister Black promo, which is basically just Aleister Black saying,
can we complain about Aleister Black for like 5 minutes?
No one's knocked on my door, so I'm going to go out into the ring, and whoever comes out, I'm going to fight.
You forgot him fumbling with his tag for 10 minutes.
Hey, listen, it's a really stupid promo. I would have difficulty, like, performing perfectly.
And here's the thing, it's towards the end, but spoiler alert, they literally do this thing where he's, like, does his promo about, like, you need to knock on my door so I can fight somebody. And then he just goes out in the ring, and you're like, okay, like, who's gonna come out? Then it cuts to commercial and then says, oh, by the way, in the middle of the match, this person came out in the ring to fight him. And I'm like,
so bad.
Not only is it Shelton Benjamin, which who fucking cares, but also but also Aleister Black's intro is still playing.
Yeah.
I should point out this was the Hulu edit that they cut away, so maybe
so because we are using the Hulu edits as our base.
Yes.
I can still critique it because someone still edits it.
Oh, absolutely.
So if they edit it that way, you cut something else like the ad where they're like, can Chad Gable not job for Andrade? Because
I agree.
Why not cut the whole match?
Sure. Yes. They've cut Aleister Black fighting nobodies before. But it was just so bizarre to me how, like, Aleister Black's character boils down to, I'm creepy and I sit in a room, who will knock on my door? And then one time it's Cesaro. And then and then the other, and it's like, oh, Cesaro.
And then Cesaro again, I guess.
And then now it's like, oh, nobody's knocking at the door. I'm going to go in the ring and see who shows up. And I'm like, but the match needs to be officiated. Like, they need to, like, set it up.
And I guess Shelton Benjamin just decides, I guess I'll fight that guy.
I guess Aleister Black exists in this dimension of WWE where like he has a contract with the management where he says, if I go into the ring and I just say volunteers, whoever comes out gets to fight me, I guess.
Can I just say it's so depressing for me because I really, really want to like Aleister Black.
I do too.
I do.
I think he's really good on the mic. I think he has a really good atmosphere if you just gave him something more. And he's really interesting to watch. Like his like flip where he destroys someone and just sits there and stares.
It's good.
It's really
good. That could be the Undertaker sit-up.
Yeah.
If they actually gave him shit to do. Because he is it's him and Fiend who I think if you wanted someone to take on probably like Undertaker and Kane, those kind of roles, it's them. Yeah. They're the ones.
I know that he like has like wanted to do like upright, legitimate, occult-ish stuff for his character, but again, we're in the PG era. Yeah. Hopefully that's changing. Hopefully that means something good for him.
But I don't get why you would have him on NXT and his whole point is he's the occult, and then you're like, we'll bring him to WWE, but we're gonna do everything that is not related to this character. Okay.
We're gonna lock him in a room and just tell him to say creepy shit. It's kind of a good gimmick, but there's no build up. It's not like there's a storyline of someone going, I think I might knock on the door. Why don't you treat Aleister Black like Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs?
That's what I'm saying.
And then, like, in a pay-per-view, just comes out and you have someone, like, who's been rising, and then they unleash Aleister Black, and then you just get, like, this really hardcore fucking, just...
Yeah. Aleister Black
match.
Aleister Black could be set free to be a huge deal again. But
and I love that he just rises up when he like his entrance for a match is so
it's really good.
He's straight out of Ministry of Darkness Undertaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, but
then we get Fire and Desire.
So fuck me. Okay.
So they made this big fucking deal about them coming out, and I was legitimately just like, I have no idea who these people are.
I recall one match.
I know them from the clip of Johnny Gargano watching the Fiend entrance, and they're the ones jabbering to fucking... Oh,
so they're annoying as piss.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch the match?
So they're like the Iconics.
I'm going to be honest, guys. This was the match. I think every review we have to talk about the match where you can or we did take a pee break or food break, because this was the one. I took 2 notes. Alexa Bliss and Nikki versus Fire and Desire. That's not a note. That's just title. Yeah. And then, they jobbed. Wow. That was my note.
Yeah, because clearly... Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are better than Fire and Desire.
Yes, duh.
Clearly. But they have the job.
And it's so... And there was this really weird moment where, I don't know, Tweedledee is like wrestling with Nikki Cross, and she's like, "You'll never look like me." And I'm like
she looks way better than
that's your character?
I'm like, you're not...
That's a character?
I mean, like, I know, like, beauty's subjective, but to me, you're not good looking.
I mean,
Nikki Cross.
Like, I know that Charlotte Flair has a lot of fakeness to her, but my God, you're like a blow-up doll. Like,
sure.
Christ.
She actually is. I feel like she just, like, stepped out of, like, a jackass skit and just...
Yeah. And, again, we've seen the behind-the-scenes stuff. They don't seem to have a lot of IQ held behind them, so that also doesn't help.
They're, like... The fact that you're a discounted Iconics is just really depressing.
You're not going to be the hero. Just kill yourself.
Also, so this match, they were like, this is them testing themselves to see if they can challenge them for the title at Clash of Champions.
Yes.
And then they beat them. So I'm like, okay, well, either outcome at Clash of Champions, like I kind of don't care because it's fucking 2 weeks before. So like, if Alexa and Nikki win, then it's not like they overcame this obstacle. It's just like, we beat them 1 week, 2 weeks later, or they beat us 1 week, 2 weeks later we beat them.
We were allowed to not job.
Yeah. Whereas if they somehow win and get the title belt, I'll be annoyed because they just came the fuck out of nowhere.
That's why, I mean, we talk about this, and it's like slightly supposed to be like rhetorical, but when we talk about power scaling, like there's certain characters where I think we all agree, like the power scaling doesn't feel like it gets fucked by the plot. It feels like it's pretty consistent.
Yes.
I feel like Seth Rollins is consistent.
He's consistent. Lesnar is pretty consistent. Yeah. Taker's consistent. I'd say like Shinsuke Nakamura is pretty consistent.
He's consistent as fuck.
Yeah. I'd say probably like the Usos are pretty consistent.
Where have the Usos been?
Well, remember there was that DUI charge.
That's right.
Them, so who knows? They might be laying low.
And then they did those ads about buckle up, and I was like, ooh.
But there's consistent characters, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, I feel like they're always like
inconsistent.
Because like there's been bits like there in the past months ago where Nikki Cross would come in and just destroy everybody.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, her and Alexa, who are like a great team and like care about each other and would like die for each other. Yeah, they're like not even as good as Nikki Cross was.
The plot likes to really downplay that Alexa's like a good wrestler.
It's because they're like, oh, she's like a blonde and like she just has a talk show and she's just pretty, so she can't really wrestle. I'm like,
it's like, no, she's good. They make her out to be like this awful wrestler who just cheats and just tries to. It's no, she's actually talented. Let her be good. Also, Corey, my boy, my dude, why are you conflicted on Alexa or Mandy Rose?
That was really embarrassing because I've noticed before when he's like, because he has to side with the heel.
Yeah.
So when you get Mandy and Alexa, there's bits where I've seen them separate where he's like, oh, Mandy Rose is the best. And he's like, the goddess, my favorite part of the week. And then this time it was like, oh, I don't know who I want more. And I'm like, isn't it obvious?
I do like the bit though where he shuts off Corey silences Byron by saying, Mandy's talking.
Yeah.
I was like,
no, I love their dynamic so much.
Thank God.
But I think after this we got the Taker's going to be on next SmackDown.
Oh my God.
That was so bizarre to me because again, we were all at the fucking Raw that he showed up to just before Extreme Rules. Which was great, and to my knowledge, there wasn't really like fanfare or promo. It was a surprise. Yeah. So the fact that it's just like,
listen, it's
Undertaker. The dead man.
It's like Doctor Who. All right, we gotta tell you everything that's gonna happen before we actually show the episode.
No, you
watch it.
don't. It's bad writing.
No, it's not. It's great. It's social media hype. Don't you love it?
No.
Hashtag Undertaker. Hashtag MGS.
Samoa Joe goes and harasses Chad Gable. It's hilarious.
Samoa Joe goes up. He makes fun of his height, and then it's like, hey, like, don't let this get to you. But it is, so you're weak. And you're weak-minded. Yeah. And you're insecure. And that's what's going to make you fail.
And then he closes it out with, good luck, Bilbo. And I literally lost my shit. Because Samoa Joe is the best.
Samoa Joe is fucking... So Shelton Benjamin was making fun of Chad Gable for all that time. And I'm like, this is dumb bad. This is not very good. Joe does it once, and I'm like, classic.
Yeah. So then after that...
Are we, what's next after that?
We're at RKO.
Yes, we are.
RKO City, yeah.
The Viper.
And I gotta see
so it's called the Super RKO, but Joe's a better name.
Oh yeah, the revived RKO because it's the revival.
Yeah. So I gotta say, I love Randy Orton.
Absolutely.
Like just yes, in general, but I also love how he was just like, man, it feels really good to just shit on Kofi in the New Day, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it does. I'm really enjoying watching you work.
He literally has a monologue where he's like talking about the suffering he's got. He's like, let the power of positivity die. Kill it if you have to.
It's so good.
Like, oh, that sweet sound of Kofi's skull smacking against the floor, and I'm like, you're fucking great.
He was getting off on it. It was so good.
I'm glad they replayed that because in my memory, I had Kofi winning that.
Me too. Yeah,
I did
dad
too.
Buff, but no, he's fucked, and Randy Orton is virtually fine. And then he's like, "Hey, Kofi, come on out." And Kofi's music plays, but he comes out and he's getting the shit kicked out of him by the Revival.
It was so funny.
It's so great. Again, I hate the Revival, but I love that they adjusted.
They were cartoon characters this week. If you were paying attention in the background, they literally had their bug eyes open and were like ha ha. And I was like, "Are you trying to be Randy Orton?"
They were the fucking flying monkeys, dude.
It's so.
But So I'm scared about this, by the way.
Well, I think that's in my notes. So you go ahead.
No. I've been talking a lot. You go for it.
No, I've literally been talking way more.
Here, I'll say it then. Because I think I got a feel for what's going to be said. So, Randy Orton has been absolutely decimating Kofi in the New Day for the past month or so. Building up how he wants to destroy him and everything, and destroy the power of positivity. There's a pay-per-view coming up with the title on the line. Yeah. And Randy Orton's been winning a lot.
Yeah, which means he's not going to win.
Which means he's going to fucking lose, which is frustrating as fuck.
And because they've been doing it where, he had the Revival with him all these times. Whereas this time it's a one-on-one, so Kofi can beat him. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, the fuck out of here.
For those of you that didn't see our first episode, Randy Orton is more talented than Kofi Kingston every single way. Those 4 qualifiers, better.
I think he fits all. Well, no, he doesn't fit story, but that's not his fault.
Yeah, he doesn't fit story because they're fucking him up and going, oh, he's scared of a chair.
Well, again, that's the least important. I think if we were ranking it, it'd be like Mike, talent in the ring, charisma, whatever, and then function in their own story. Because like again, we would talk about Aleister Black, like, oh, he's great, but like he doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Whereas Randy Orton's kind of the same, where it's just like, this is Randy Orton, like his power scaling dictates he should literally just destroy everything, and it's like, well, but Kofi's the champion and people like him, so
if we keep showing that shot of him going to Africa and people being encouraged by him doing that, then it will make people think that he's good and that you should like him.
So for those not watching the video, which is done as this, me and Josiah both turn each other with this wide-eyed look of like, just is he say that?
But
what did I said he went to Africa. No, did I say anything wrong?
This is the best running joke. But did we have any cut match after this? Because
no.
Okay, so
the next one is
they do the ad, Rowan versus Roman at Clash of Champions.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And so when I saw that, because I was literally watching, and then like I was kind of like phasing out at the end of like when they were fucking Kofi Kingston, and then the ad was like, oh, by the way, at Clash of Champions, Rowan versus Roman, and I'm like, what?
Kind of bad structure.
Yes,
I gotta say,
given what happens later.
And I'm like, why would you say that now and not at?
Yes.
Okay, well.
We scheduled it for it to be the last match, but we need to sell more tickets to Clash of Champions, so we need to sell what's going to be there.
Yes.
Earlier.
But so now we have the most shocking match.
Oh man,
I've seen in a while. So we
defied your expectations.
So when I looked at the King of the Ring when it first came out, I saw the bracket. I'm like, okay, Apollo Crews can beat Andrade. Will he?
No, the plot won't let him.
No. Because Apollo Crews is better than Andrade in every sense of the word. Yes. But no, he will not win. All right. So, job. Got it. And then you get to, all right, Shelton Benjamin or Chad Gable. Both jobs for Andrade. Got it. Cool. But no. No. Chad Gable fucks Andrade.
Really bad.
Really bad. And then, like...
This is another case of Chad Gable just, like... it was acting, but also like physically he was pushing himself to his limit.
Yeah,
and I could see that
because we've only seen him, or at least I've only seen him for like these past couple weeks, and I'm like, I don't really know who this is. His fights are pretty good, I guess, but this I think was one of his best displays of his skills in the ring.
Yeah,
it was great. I totally like him now.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, because I mean, it helps that he beat Andrade, who I fucking hate.
Oh yes.
He overcame the stupid fucking meme where it's like, oh, I beat him fair and square, legitimately. I had him pinned for like 10 seconds. But Zelina was distracting the ref. The ref didn't see it. So, of course, and the meme moment just activates where Chad Gable's like, hey, ref, I had him. Andrade attacks. Oh, no. This is how Andrade wins because he has no skill. Oh, no. Chad Gable overcame Andrade's shitty attack and pinned him.
Yeah, Chad Gable's just like, I watched this show, right?
Like, I know what you do.
Like, I get what your thing is. It was very impressive, and
to see Andrade and Zelina try their bullshit and fucking fail, and made my dick so hard.
If you watch from when Gable starts the match, people are like, "Oh yeah, Chad Gable," and then the way he gets the whole audience by the end of the match is actually
everyone's
incredible.
Chanting his fucking.
Everyone is like, "Gable," and I'm just like,
yes.
"Yeah." There you go.
I also have to say, circling around, apologies on the poor structure. It was hilarious.
So similar to the SmackDown.
But it's hilarious to me that Zelina was on the mic because Andrade can't be. And
Zelina's great.
She's she's great. There was one line that I was like, that was fucking stupid, where she's like,
oh yeah,
Chad, you're really talented. You could have won this if Andrade wasn't in it, but Andrade's in it. So you can't win. And I was like, you said the same thing twice. Great, good work.
It's Chad Gable, I believe that you could win this King of the Ring tournament if Andrade was not in this tournament for King of the Ring. But Andrade is in this tournament. And I'm like, can you just hurry up,
please?
We cut out the intro to Shelton Benjamin for this shit.
Yeah. I was like, you fucking ruined Aleister Black's match. It was already shitty, but you cut like a suspense moment so that you could go, Andrade is in this match. And it's like, fuck, I don't care. I don't care about Andrade. I don't really care about Chad Gable until after this match.
Yeah. But then, to follow the meme, not only did that interrupt Shelton Benjamin's entrance, but we get this ad advertising Clash of Champions, and Clash of Champions has the Spartan, and you literally get the CGI Spartan holding the Skittles in his hand going, Clash of Champions, sponsored by Skittles. I'm like, you realize, like, that was bad, right? And
my thought was that the Titan of Bravos?
That's exactly, yes.
It's the same model. But...
And then it just cuts back and it's like, oh, by the way, Shelton Benjamin came out. And I'm like, that's great. I would have loved to have that suspense for half a second.
Like, why is he out there? Is there like a story reason?
No, he kind of just thought he could take him.
No.
And he can't.
I think there was a race from the locker room. Vince McMahon kicked the door up and says, all right, whoever get out there first gets to fight Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And gets paid this episode.
So it's going to be just such good shit.
So
Shelton's like, I haven't been paid in a month.
Yeah, no, that's really what I've been going to so many of these. And then Benjamin dies. Of course, Aleister Black kills him because he's Aleister Black.
And it should be satisfying, but it's not, because it's like
it's not
a minute or two.
And then I think we get some 24/7 bullshit.
So then we get Shinsuke Nakamura, who is Japanese, by the way.
I didn't know that.
And Sami Zayn versus some Joe Schmo.
No, this was actually amazing.
Who I wanted to, like...
This was the best thing ever because, so first of all, Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura have this thing where their limbs are moving independently from their torsos.
Yes.
And they're doing it at the same time. So Shinsuke is doing like this thing where his limbs are like moving side to side, and then Sami Zayn's in the background like doing his twirling thing, and it's like too much like information for my cerebral cortex.
I was saying it was like two different forms of orgasming, where you have Shinsuke just kind of like lazily jizzing himself, and then you have Sami Zayn just like ecstatic and exploding everywhere.
I think that's what bonds them, is they cover both bases.
Yeah.
And
I could see on Shinsuke's face how much fun he's having with Sami Zayn.
It's so great.
It's clear.
There was a moment after he, spoilers, wins his match where Sami Zayn just like surprise jump hugs him from behind, and he's like,
he almost like smiles and laughs. He's like, no, wait, I'm on Mexico.
I could tell that like they've probably been friends for a while, and Sammy was like, listen, man, I keep losing. Can we just team up? And she's like, I will see you with Mr. McMahon. I like you, Zen.
Yeah,
and I wanted this guy to like put up a good fight, but he didn't.
No. I did not, because here's why it's so fucking funny. Because they go out and like you look at them and you're like, who is this guy? And then you realize that's the point.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it doesn't matter what your name is. You're the Miz. And then you're immediately like, oh god, I am so sorry.
If you're for some reason listening to this and didn't watch the episode, Sami Zayn is literally just like, oh yeah, so who are you, like Daniel somebody? And the guy's just like shaking his head. He's just like, he's shaking his head. Listen, idiot, it doesn't matter what your name is. Tonight you're the Miz. And it's just like, oh god.
And the new gimmick of Shinsuke doing moves, and like literally you have Sami Zayn. And in some points, the commentators are trying to talk, and Sami Zayn doesn't stop talking. Yes. And he's talking over them, and they just have to, like, shut the fuck up because it's Sami Zayn. So he's literally going, like... He's like, oh, did you think that you're serious? You thought that would work? Like, oh, what are you doing? And then, like, of course, it's like, oh, here it comes. Shinsuke's doing his, like, arm thing. And then he's just like, here it comes. Kinshasa! And he just, like, orgasms, and then you're like...
Sami Zayn is, like, coming in his pants.
And then he's like, ah ha ha ha! And Shinsuke has to be like, I am totally not on the inside laughing that he is screaming my moves.
You know, they got back to the locker room, Shinsuke started like bawling.
Yeah.
He's like, oh my god, that was great.
I really like, so slight rabbit trail. So I ordered some things on WWE, and
we're not sponsored, by the way.
They
not yet,
but they had like a little suggestion for how your orders went, and I was like, yeah, you should make these better quality because I would pay more money. But legitimately, Vince, WWE, if you did like a sweepstakes for like whoever wins gets to like go out and get some sushi with Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura,
I'd buy like 100 entries into that. Like that sounds like the
I'd be so
best night
curious
of my life.
about what the energy of that table would be like. Because you'd have Shinsuke Nakamura like eating his sushi but like dissecting it like he's like a surgeon with like an animal. And then you have Sami Zayn just kind of going like with like for some reason he has a giant pint of beer and he's just like, isn't it so great to be sitting with the legend Shinsuke Nakamura eating sushi, which is Japanese.
Just grabbing like handfuls, not using the chopsticks, and just stuffing his face.
And if you ask him, I'd be like, well, that'd be cultural appropriation. I want to do that.
I wouldn't do that to my friend Shinsuke. He used the chopsticks, not me. I'm Canadian.
I'm convinced, like when you enter the restaurant, Sami Zayn just has Shinsuke's music blasting on his phone.
Which, by the way, when he came in, he's like, cut the music. I know you all want to sing along the Shinsuke's theme, which is great, but this isn't about you, okay? You parasites. And I'm like, Sammy, just keep talking.
So
the rest
we're
of
at the end, I think.
We are.
We're in the end game.
I didn't even take notes for this part.
No, because it's just more Roman Reigns' murder plot.
Yes. However, as we said at the start, this was way less dumb than last week.
Yes.
From a pure logical point of view, this was way less dumb.
So I have a problem with this murder arc.
Well, by all means, go ahead.
I can't imagine what it is.
Rowan did it.
Yes.
No.
And he plotted everything.
No. Rowan didn't do it.
Well,
it can't be.
He can't.
But it has to be.
We have this guy who looks just like him.
He didn't do it.
Yeah, it was the guy that looked just like him.
What did Rowan do? Tell me what you saw in the footage. What did Rowan do?
Well, we saw a guy with a beard.
He pushed a stack of crates that was already falling.
Yes.
That fell around Roman after something else fell on top of him.
Right.
At the worst, he prevented him from getting help, so he'd get charged with manslaughter, not murder.
But someone had to drive the forklift.
Yeah.
No, you see what, Sal? It's so simple. All you have to do is the forklift was clearly like at the end of a hallway, right?
Okay.
So you put a little bag of sand on the pedal.
Okay.
It goes at 10
bag of sand,
10 miles an hour. So Rowan just hauls ass, gets behind that display.
And then pushes over 3 boxes.
After the forklift has knocked things on top of it.
Let's be fair. I think he pushed over 2 rows of boxes. Because he kind of he was going
You know
right.
What? I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm giving him everything, that is due to him. So he goes to the right, he kind of moved, and you see him come up and then push the other one.
That's
so
fair.
I think it implied he pushed over the middle row too.
Okay.
But he couldn't have done it. And then it's like, oh well, the car. Well, yeah, there was one person driving the car, so that could have been him.
Sure.
But they didn't even have a bit where they showed footage inside the car, which I know wouldn't make sense, but it's still
I mean, it makes as much sense as having a GoPro on the front of the car that hits Roman Reigns.
See, I thought that was gonna go somewhere, and it never did.
No, fuck you.
I thought that was gonna be
What, you remember that?
I thought it was gonna do the camera was on, so someone's boot comes into frame, and you're like, oh shit, it's this person.
It's this weird thing in WWE where sometimes the cameras are actually in universe and sometimes it's just we're seeing this for some reason.
I think most of the time it's supposed to be the cameras are actually there.
Yes, most of the time
I think 98% of the time. But there's those weird 2% of the time where it's like, wait a minute.
What? Yeah.
But so last week,
yes,
we have the stunning revelation. Rowan did it. But Daniel Bryan didn't do it.
No.
He flips the fuck out and slaps the shit out of Rowan. Hates liars.
That.
And he still wants an apology.
I still love that because it's I know that Daniel Bryan is the new Daniel Bryan, but he totally lied to get in the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
So it's so funny.
Well,
he wasn't proud of himself.
Well, even so. So we have Daniel Bryan in the ring waiting for Roman Reigns to apologize because he feels he exonerated himself. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. I guess just based on the sincerity of his reaction towards Rowan.
Yes.
But so Roman comes out, immediately gets attacked by Rowan.
Yes.
And Rowan's like, I did it. I'm proud of it. It felt so good to try to kill you.
And they were chanting what?
I kind of liked Rowan on mic.
It's so bizarre and so much fun.
They were chanting what?
I didn't know he could speak.
I know when he spoke, I was like, oh, he said a line, and then he kept speaking. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. So he kind of beats the shit out of Roman. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, Daniel Bryan, you're innocent.
Yes.
You hate liars.
you're gonna
help. Do something, you stupid fuck.
Save Roman. That would prove to him that you are not responsible, wouldn't it? But he kind of like goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, he's kind of just dumbfounded for a bit,
which makes sense for like initially. But there's clearly a point where Daniel Bryan needs to fight Rowan for a bit, and then he's in front of him, and Rowan grabs him by the skull and slams him and says, "You're not giving me orders. No one will ever control me again."
Yeah.
Which makes sense as an arc because the Wyatt family and then Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
But he couldn't have done it alone. Like, there's no way.
Well, maybe more will be revealed.
But it's so poorly structured.
All
these pieces could have been something much better if they had been reorganized and focused on in different ways, and probably cut that whole fake Rowan thing.
It's almost like this wasn't planned out completely.
Yes. Like, the whole fake Rowan thing is dumb because you could have literally had any other suspect. Like, remember how he thought it was,
Joe at first?
Yeah. Thought it was Joe. He was asking all these people things and, like, there were suspects, and it's like, there's a fake Rowan. But in the footage we saw, we don't even see the fake Rowan. So why would it convince... It's stupid. Why would you need a double just to validate the word of, I think it was Rowan?
And then show grainy footage, doesn't even show Rowan's face.
So it could still be fake Rowan,
yes,
but fake Rowan has mysteriously disappeared.
They never have spoken about him. All they say is the week after they showed him was the individual. And I'm like, if you were trying to prove that it wasn't Rowan, you would identify this man.
Yes.
Or at least explain that we can't identify this man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And make it clear to Rowan that, like, here's the test. This guy's, like, related to Rowan or whatever.
Hey, listen. Rowan says that no one controls him.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
He choke slams Daniel Bryan.
He challenges him. He head slams him.
Oh, okay.
He does his patented grabs your skull and then slams.
It's like bear thing or whatever.
Yeah.
He challenges Daniel Bryan to slap him in the face again.
Yes.
And Daniel Bryan mans up and does it, and then he goes through a table. And
he dies.
He dies, dude.
It's really sad. I love Rowan saying no one controls him because, like, the Wyatt family.
Well, man. Because, like, that makes sense as an arc for Rowan, but the fact is it's like... But it would have made more sense for him to be controlled and then break out.
The question is, are we done with this arc? Maybe Bray Wyatt will be able to capitalize on it and salvage it.
Is Rowan versus Roman at the Clash of Champions what this has all been leading to? Really?
Well, that's what I had to assume after I watched.
I'm like, seriously?
Because the way it was handled was, I was like, okay, using that motivation for Rowan is the only way you could make this make sense. Even though the murder plot doesn't make sense.
Maybe it got accidentally elongated by Buddy Murphy.
But that still doesn't... It still would have been stupid.
I mean, yes.
Buddy Murphy made it better, arguably, because it felt more like a mystery. So I disagree that like, it's his... I mean, not his fault, but that...
I wanted more, like, backstage, like, investigation.
I know.
They talked about the arc more than actually doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the arc is so bloated at this point that they only recap from, like, the halfway point onward.
Yeah.
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 Which I'm grateful for, because I don't want it to take 5 minutes to add another minute onto it at the end. Like,
yeah. And then cut Shelton Benjamin's. Sorry, that's the running joke now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was it was a weird SmackDown. There was twists I didn't expect.
Yeah. I would say so we didn't do this, and it doesn't have to be a running thing, but just for the sake of this episode, I will say I think last week the SmackDown was better than the Raw. I think this week the Raw was better than the SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say so. Though I do forget what happened last week on SmackDown.
Well, last week SmackDown had the whole... Well, I guess the whole I hate liars bit, I emotionally felt something for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably true. That's probably true. But I don't know. I felt genuinely more positive about this week. Yeah. It had stuff like Andrade losing and Cedric Alexander being good, and
well, I think it's just what we said is that this week's Raw improved drastically over last week's, whereas this week's SmackDown was just a little bit better than.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I'll come down on it. So.
Enjoyable though. I mean, like Clash of Champions, I don't feel a lot of hype for.
No, if anything, I feel less hype.
Yeah,
yeah, because like I mean, we don't have the card up, but it's like Rowan versus Roman.
Yeah,
for not a championship.
No,
Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know why he just decided to attack Roman either, by the way.
Well, no, like
it's why this plot's so messy.
There has to be more, otherwise this is like legendarily bad. So would you say this week's SmackDown and Raw were good shit or stupid?
Good shit.
I'd say they were good shit.
I mean, the fact that Elias won fair and square, and so did Chad Gable, made me really happy.
This was the week of people actually winning.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's good.
Well, I guess
this is it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll tune in next week, guys, for our Madison Square Garden episode.
Oh yeah, we gotta do that one.
I mean, take this still available, so we can probably go.
Can I get a hell yeah?
What you gonna do about that, brother?
Brother.